Good morning everyone. Welcome back to GK Today. And today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 28th of September 2023. Let's start with our session. Indian Council for Medical Research approves to conduct Truenat test to detect which type of infection. So recently ICMR has granted the state permission to conduct Truenat test in certain hospitals to support the Kerala's efforts to combat the Nipah virus outbreak. And these tests use portable, smart chip based, battery operated RT-PCR kits, and only those hospitals which are equipped with level 2 biosafety facilities which have strict protocols to prevent sample contamination will be allowed to use this test facility. Okay, so recently ICMR has approved to conduct this Truenat test to detect the Nipah virus which has been found in the state of Kerala. Okay, you can be asked that Truenat test is associated with which type of virus. Answer would be Nipah. Okay, now let's have a look at different viruses that were in news these days. First is, which country has been recording increasing number of cases of West Nile virus? West Nile virus was found to be in USA. India has reached out to which country to restock monoclonal antibody doses to combat the Nipah virus? So recently India has reached to the country Australia for this purpose. Which country approved first respiratory syncytial virus vaccine for use in women during pregnancy to protect their baby? Here answer would be USA. And Marburg virus was also in news these days. It has killed over 5 people in which country? Answer would be Tanzania. It was found in Tanzania. Talking about Tanzania, don't forget that IT Madras is set to establish its very first campus outside India in the country Tanzania at its Zanzibar place. Okay. Also, IT Delhi has decided to establish its first ever center that lies outside India. At which place? Answer would be UAE. Fine. Next question is, what is the new award instituted to honor the scientists in India? So Indian government has announced the establishment of Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, which is a series of awards to honor the scientists in India, and these awards will be presented under total 4 categories, including Vigyan Ratna for lifetime achievement, second is Vigyan Shri for distinguished contributions, third is Vigyan Yuva Shanti Sarup Bhatnagar to encourage the young scientist, and the last one is Vigyan Team for the recognized team of scientists. And these awards will commence in 2024 and it will cover total 13 domains ranging from physics to environmental science. Okay, so Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar has been instituted to honor the scientists in India. Let's talk about some of the important awards and honors. First is Antonin Dvorak, who was honored as the Google Doodle, was associated with which profession? Here answer would be musician. Which country's Prime Minister was granted the Grand Cross of the Order of Honor by Greece in 2023? This is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Here answer would be India. Which state or the Union Territory recently passed the Honor of Dead Body Bill 2023? Here answer is Rajasthan. Which leader was honored with the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor? Here once again answer is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Not only this, Egypt country has also conferred the Order of the Nile honor to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi this year. Who is honored with the Pen Painter Prize 2023? Answer is Michael Rosen. Okay. And last question is, who was conferred with the Points of Light honor by the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak? This is Rajinder Singh Dhatt. Okay. What is the name of the first indigenous aircraft carrier of India? So Indian Navy has submitted a proposal to the government for the construction of its second indigenous aircraft carrier known as Indigenous Aircraft Carrier 2. And Cochin Shipyard Limited delivered the first indigenously built aircraft carrier, that is INS Vikrant, to the Indian Navy in July 2022. Okay, so here correct answer is INS Vikrant. Let's see some questions regarding first, means what are the first things that were in news. Which city is the host of the first global symposium on farmers' right? Here answer would be New Delhi. Indian Air Force has received first C-295 transport plane From which company? So we have received these planes from the company Airbus. Which place has become Florida's first sanctuary city for LGBTQ plus individuals and their families? Answer is Lake Worth Beach. Okay. Claudia Sheinbaum, who was seen in the news recently, is said to become the first female leader of which country? Answer is Mexico. Who is the first woman to head the Railway Board of India? This is Jaya Verma Sinha. Okay, this name is very, very important. Don't forget it. Next one is, which city hosted the Sustainable Development Goals Summit in 2023? So leaders from around the world gathered at the United Nations hosted high-level Sustainable Development Goals Summit in New York, and they endorsed a resolute political declaration. And this declaration outlines their shared commitment to create a sustainable and inclusive world by the end of 2030. And leaders reiterated the importance of the Addis Ababa Action Agenda and called for some swift actions to implement the United Nations Secretary General's proposal for an SDG stimulus. Okay, so which city has hosted this summit? Answer would be New York. Let's see some of the important cities which were in news. Which city hosted the National Workshop on E-NAM 2.0 and Agri-Marketing Reforms? Here answer is New Delhi. Which city is the host of the final meeting of the G20 Framework Working Group? This was the fourth and the final meeting of G20 Framework Working Group, which was hosted by Raipur, that is the capital of Chhattisgarh. Which Indian city is set to launch an innovative disease surveillance dashboard? Here answer is Bangalore city. Which city topped the Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2023 Clean Air Survey? Answer is Indore, which lies in Madhya Pradesh, and Indore was further followed by Agra at second position, and the third was Thane, that lies in Maharashtra, right? Next question says, which African country has 61% of women in its parliament? So East African country Rwanda has a record with an impressive 61% of women in its parliament, which is a kind of contrast to many other countries. Actually, after the tragic Rwanda genocide in 1994, there was a predominant female population as large number of men killed during this violence. And to address the societal and gender imbalances, Rwanda implemented a transformative gender equality initiative in its 2003 constitution, introducing different type of quotas, ensuring women held 30% of decision-making position. Okay, so Rwanda has 61% of women in their parliament currently. Now let's talk about some of the important international current affairs. India recently suspended visa services in which country until further notice? This is the country Canada, because of India-Canada conflict. The conference of the Asia Pacific Forum on Human Rights was inaugurated in which country? So President of India Draupadi Murmu inaugurated annual general meeting and biennial conference of the Asia Pacific Forum on Human Rights in New Delhi. And this year's conference marks the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. And this Asia Pacific Forum also celebrated 30 years of national human rights institutions and the Paris Principles with a sub-theme on the environment and climate change. Okay, correct answer would be India here. India has partnered with which country to deploy 10,000 made in India electric buses across Indian cities? This is the US. And recently India and the US have initiated a collaboration to deploy 10,000 made in India electric buses across different Indian cities. And this partnership was announced during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the White House, and it focuses on expanding options for electric public transportation in India, which would foster the cleaner urban environment and it would promote healthier community. Fine. Correct answer would be USA. Which country or region parliament approved the Critical Raw Materials Act? Here answer would be European Parliament, so that they do not need to depend on the country China for the critical raw materials and minerals. Which country unveiled the People's G20 e-book? Here answer would be India, in which there would be a summary of G20 under India's presidency. Okay. Next question is, data quality index which was seen in the news recently is associated with which institution? So Reserve Bank of India has directed credit information companies to extend the use of data quality index to the commercial and microfinance segment. Initially, it was introduced in June 2014 and it basically examines the quality of data submission by the credit institutions to the credit information companies, and basic aim is to enhance the data quality over time. So now CICs are required to create DQIs, means data quality indices, for commercial and microfinance segment and provide them to all member credit institutions by 31st of March 2024. Okay, here answer would be Reserve Bank of India. Let's see important institutions that were in news. Which institution released its first ever report on the global impact of high blood pressure? So World Health Organization released its first ever report on the global impact of high blood pressure, and the report shows that hypertension affects 1 in 3 adults worldwide, and nearly 4 out of every 5 people with hypertension are not adequately treated. But if countries can scale up the coverage, 76 million deaths could be averted between 2023 and 2050. So hypertension affects 1 in 3 adults worldwide. Okay, and this was the report from WHO. Which institution released the International Tourism Highlights report? So United Nations World Tourism Organization has released a report highlighting the severe economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the global tourism industry. And as per this report, international tourism lost $2.6 trillion in export revenues, exceeding its earnings in 2019 by 1.5 times. Okay, simply you have to remember that this was the report of United Nations World Tourism Organization. What's inside the report is not at all relevant. Which institution released the report titled as Embracing a One Health Framework to Fight Antimicrobial Resistance? So this was a new report from OECD, means Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and it has focused on the health and economic consequences of antimicrobial resistance. So this report provides fresh evidence of the global impact of the antimicrobial resistance and offers some recommendations to combat it. And further, the report reveals that the consumption of antibiotics in humans has been increasing, especially in the G20 countries. Okay. Which institution has introduced geocoding functionality to identify and locate the businesses across the country? This is GSTN, means Goods and Services Tax Network. Recently, it has introduced geocoding functionality to identify and locate businesses accurately across all states and the union territories. And this technology helps the tax authorities pinpoint the geographical coordinates of properties and taxpayers, which would facilitate the detection of tax evaders and it would eliminate the fake registration. Okay, answer would be GST network. Which institution released a report titled as State of Working India 2023? So this was the report of Azim Premji University, and as per this report, the workforce has shifted more towards self-employment during this period, with women being disproportionately affected. Okay, so this was the report from Azim Premji University. Next question is, as per the latest Railway Board circular, what is the ex-gratia payments for the victims of deceased passengers in the train accident? So the Railway Board in India has significantly increased the ex-gratia payments for the victims of train accidents and untoward incident, and this ex-gratia relief amount, which was last revised in 2012 and 2013, have been increased by 10-fold almost. So this circular states that the relatives of deceased passengers in the train accident and manned level crossing accidents will now receive 5 lakh rupees, while grievously injured passengers will be awarded 2.5 lakh rupees, and passengers with simple injuries will receive 50,000 rupees each. And previously these amounts were much lower. And what was the amount? For deceased person, the families would get 50,000 rupees, and the persons with severe injuries would get 25,000 rupees, and the persons with simple injuries would get 5,000 rupees. So this was the value, and now it had been increased almost 10 times. Okay. Let's see some of the important questions. What is India's GDP growth outlook for this fiscal as per Asian Development Bank's recent forecast. As per the Asian Development Bank, India's GDP growth outlook for this fiscal is 6.3%. As per UNESCO report, mass exclusion of the girls from education in which country widened the global educational gap? This is an important question. Actually, a new report from UNESCO reveals that slow progress on achieving United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of education for all, combined with the socio-economic pressures and the mass exclusion of the girls from education in Afghanistan country, has widened the global educational gap. And further, the report states that there are now 250 million children who are not enrolled in school, and this is an increment of 6 million since 2021. So to meet the 2030 targets of SDG 4, means quality education, a new child needs to join school every 2 seconds. Fine. So here correct answer would be Afghanistan. As per a new study, socio-political and ecological fragility threatens which species in Africa? Here answer would be lion. You have to tell me when do we observe the World Lion Day. As per the recent research, exposure to which element was linked to 5.5 million cardiovascular disease death globally in the year 2019. This element was lead. Okay. Next question is, which state or the union territory launched Mukhyamantri Atmanirbharshil Assam Abhiyan? So the Assam government has launched a new scheme called as Mukhyamantri Atmanirbharshil Assam Abhiyan, and basic aim is to provide financial assistance of 2 lakh rupees each to 2 lakh young individuals. So it would foster self-reliance and economic independence among the state's youth, and the registration process for the program is scheduled to commence by September end. Okay, so this is a campaign of Assam state. Let's have a look at different states that were in news these days. The first question is, which Indian state signed a memorandum of understanding with the British Council for Research Faculty Student Exchange Program? Here answer would be Tamil Nadu state, and Tamil Nadu state government has signed an agreement with the British Council for two-way student mobility, capacity building and research and transnational education. And the British Council would enable collaborations in new and emerging areas through Going Global partnership that the state is already part of. Agumbe Rainforest Complex, which was seen in the news recently, is located in which Indian state? So this complex lies in the state of Karnataka, and it is known as Cherrapunji of the south for its high rainfall, and it has seen a decline in its monsoon rainfall over the past 2 years. Some towns like Natpal and Mudradi that are located 45 to 50 kilometers away from Agumbe Rainforest Complex have recorded higher rainfall in 2022, pushing Agumbe to the 3rd position in terms of rainfall in the state of Karnataka. Okay, so this complex lies in Karnataka. A recent CAG report has filed mismanagement affecting wildfire and forest in which Indian state? Answer is Gujarat. And the report highlights poor spending of funds allocated to the state's forest department, leading to issues like encroachment, mining and deforestation in 6 sanctuaries. So less than 1% of allocated funds were spent by the department in 2016 and 17, and overall only a fraction of the allocated budget was utilized for 2016-17 and 2020-21. Okay, correct answer will be Gujarat. Next is Udan Bhavan Integrated Office Complex has been inaugurated in which state or the union territory? So this complex was inaugurated in New Delhi. Hoysala temples which received UNESCO World Heritage Tag are located in which temple? Are located in which state? Answer would be Karnataka. The Chausat Yogini temple which was seen in the news is located in which state or the union territory? Answer would be Madhya Pradesh. Next is, which institution released a report titled as State of Working India 2023? We have discussed this question. Answer would be Azim Premji University. And last question is, as per a UNESCO report, mass exclusion of the girls from education in which country widened the global educational gap? Again, we have discussed this question. Answer would be Afghanistan. Santiniketan, which was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, lies in which Indian state? This place lies in the state of West Bengal, and recently it has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site tag. UNESCO has suggested adding which city to its list of World Heritage Centers in danger? This is Venice city. Which country has officially re-entered the UNESCO? It is USA. And Bhimbetka Cave Shelter is a UNESCO World Heritage Site located in which Indian state? The shelter was in news few days back, if you remember, and it lies in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So these are the most important current affairs and the news from today. And now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions, and at the end of the lecture do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These were the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, Meenuzahat Sana signing off.